Stop doing these 7 things at night if you want to lose weight. You may be doing almost everything right during the day, eating healthy, walking every day, and exercising regularly. But then night comes, and a few small habits quietly start working against you. Not because eating at night automatically makes you gain weight, but because your nighttime routine can affect how much you eat, how well you sleep, and how active you are. And one of these habits is so normal that you probably don't even consider it a weight loss mistake. So let's start with the one most people overlook. Mindless snacking. It's 10 p.m. and you're watching TV, scrolling your phone, and suddenly you're eating chips, or cookies, or chocolate, or something sweet. You're not even sure you're hungry, yet you're just eating because the food is there. And that's the problem. Those small bites can easily turn into hundreds of extra calories without ever feeling like a proper meal. So, before grabbing a snack, ask yourself, am I actually hungry or am I just bored? If you're genuinely hungry, eat something sensible. But if it's simply a habit, try drinking some water, brushing your teeth, or leaving the kitchen immediately. Because sometimes the easiest calories to cut are the ones you never plan to eat. But here's where things get interesting. What if you're not eating too much at night because you're weak-willed? What if something you did several hours earlier is actually making those nighttime cravings much harder to control? And that brings us to the second habit, eating too little during the day. And this sounds strange. You're trying to lose weight so you eat less during the day. Maybe you skip breakfast, have a very small lunch, and avoid snacks. And you feel proud for it because you're being good. But then nighttime arrives, and suddenly you're starving. Then dinner becomes much bigger than planned. And then you want something sweet, and then something salty, and before you know it, you're standing in the kitchen looking for something else to eat. And this cycle becomes like this. Eat too little, get extremely hungry, overeat, feel guilty, and then restrict again. Weight loss does not require starving yourself throughout the day. If you want a calorie deficit, you can actually maintain while eating satisfying meals with adequate protein, fiber, fruits, vegetables, and appropriate portions of carbs and fats. Because if a diet makes you feel out of control every night, it's probably too difficult to maintain. But there's another nighttime habit that can make this entire cycle even worse. And unlike food, it does not contain a single calorie. Yet, it can completely change what you do the next day. Staying up too late. You tell yourself, I'm just going to watch one more episode. Or maybe you're walking, maybe you're scrolling, and suddenly it's midnight. Then 1 a.m. and you're still awake. The problem is not that there's a magical bedtime after which your body starts storing fat. That's not how it works. The bigger issue is what consistently poor or inefficient sleep can do to your appetite, food choice, energy, and daily routine. After a bad night's sleep, healthy choices can become harder. You are tired, you have less energy, your exercise feels harder, and highly palatable foods can suddenly become much more tempting. So sleep is not a magic fat-burning trick. It's something that can make the rest of your weight loss routine easier or harder. But here's the frustrating part. You might actually get into bed at a reasonable time and still lose an hour or two without realizing it because of the next habit, and that is scrolling. You know the routine, you get into bed, you open your phone, and you tell yourself just 5 minutes more. Then you look at the clock and somehow it's 12:45. Hey, your phone is not directly causing belly fat, but endless scrolling can keep you awake much longer than planned. And the longer you are awake, the more opportunities you have to snack, crave food, and push yourself sleep later. There's also something else happening in your body. You are constantly being exposed to food, recipes, restaurant videos, desserts, and food reviews, and suddenly you're craving something you were not even thinking about before. So, what to do? Try creating a simple rule. When you're in bed, the goal is to sleep. Put your phone away from your pillow, reduce late night scrolling, and give your brain a chance to slow down. But let's say if you fix your phone habit, you go to bed earlier, you sleep better, and you're still not losing weight, then there may be another problem hiding in your evening routine. And this one has nothing to do with how late you eat, and that is grazing after dinner. A little cookie, a few nuts, a cup of tea with sugar, and some chocolates. Maybe a few bites of dessert while watching television, and none of this seems like a big deal. But that's exactly why grazing can be so easy to overlook. You're not sitting down for another meal, you are just eating small amounts repeatedly. And those small amounts can add up. So instead of letting your evening becomes a continuous eating window, create a clear ending to dinner. Finish your meals, clean up, brush your teeth, and move on with your evening. But if you're genuinely hungry later, you don't need to ignore your body. But if you're eating simply because food is available, that's the habit to question. And now comes one that is especially important if you're already a walking person. Because you can hit your steps goal and still spend a huge part of your evening completely inactive, resting for the rest of the night. Maybe you walked all day, you reach 10,000 steps and you feel like you have done your exercise. But then you eat dinner and sit on the couch for the next 3 hours. Instead of doing this mistake, try adding some light movement after dinner. Take a short walk, clean the kitchen, do some household tasks, or walk around while talking on the phone. You don't need another intense workout. You just need to make your evening a little less sedentary. And if walking is already a part of your routine, a short post-dinner walk can be an easy habit to attach to your evening. But there's one final habit that can completely change how your respond when you slip up. And honestly, this one may be more important than everything we have discussed so far. So listen to it carefully. Stop trying to be perfect. You eat something unhealthy at night. Then you think, I ruined my day. So you give up for the rest at the night. And tomorrow becomes another restart. And then restart and then another restart. And eventually, you have trapped in the cycle of being perfect for a few days and then giving up. Remember, one meal does not destroy your progress. One dessert does not suddenly create significant belly fat. And one missed walk does not matter nearly as much as what you do consistently. Instead of thinking, I failed, ask yourself, what's my next good decision? And that's the mindset that keeps you moving forward. So, note it down somewhere that you don't need a perfect nighttime routine to lose weight. You need a repeatable one. And most importantly, don't turn one imperfect decision into an entire week of giving up. Because weight loss is not decided by what you do once. It's decided by what you repeat every single day. If you like this video, subscribe this channel for more such health related videos. And 2 of them must be popping up on your screen. Click on it and see you in the next video.